I used to believe in two things: loyalty and Victor Hale. Funny how wrong a man can be. We met when I was 10. I had a broken arm, two cracked ribs, and a foster family that treated me like clutter. Victor had a house full of secrets and a mother who cried behind locked doors. We bonded over pain, the silent kind you learn not to speak about. We were both just trying to survive. When we were 16, I shared my dream with him: a tech company, one that could change the world. I called it Eden. He laughed and said it sounded like a Bible app, but 2 years later, we started building it. Victor was the wild spark. I was the architect. He could charm investors like a magician, but I wrote every line of code, built every product from scratch. We made millions by 25. By 30, we were billionaires. We were brothers. Or so I thought. Then there was Lena. She wasn't part of the plan. She was lightning, the kind that sets fire to everything before you realize you're burning. I met her at a gala. I was speaking. She wasn't listening. That's what drew me in. She challenged me, loved me, grounded me, or so I thought. I proposed on a rooftop in Paris. Victor was the first to congratulate us. He gave me this half smile, the one he always used when hiding something. I didn't notice it then. I was too blind, too in love. The beginning of the end was quiet, subtle. A missing signature here, a delay in a product rollout there. Investors pulling away. Victor kept saying everything was fine. Just market noise, he said. Then came the audits and the board meeting. I walked in expecting to defend a new tech roadmap. I walked out stripped of my company, reputation, and legacy. Victor stood at the head of the table, my table, wearing my smile with Lena beside him. She didn't look at me, not once. Elias, Victor said, we appreciate your vision, but the company needs new leadership, effective immediately. I didn't speak. Not because I didn't have words, but because I had too many, and none of them could stop what had already happened. The media had a field day. Visionary ousted by partner? Eden Tech rocked by scandal. Where is Elias Monroe? Where was I? I was watching everything I built be devoured by the man I once called brother, and the woman I thought would be my wife. They said I ran. I didn't. I disappeared. I lived in a cabin on the coast. No tech, no press. Just the sound of the sea and the static inside my own head. I stopped counting the days. Grief has no calendar. But then, something inside me refused to die. You can bury a man. You can smear his name. But you cannot kill his purpose. Victor took Eden. Lena took my heart. But what they gave me in return was clarity. I would not move on. I would not forgive. I would rebuild, quietly, patiently. And when the time came, I would make them watch as everything they stole turned to ash in their hands. They say time heals all wounds. They're wrong. Time only sharpens the blade. For 2 years, I vanished. To the world, I was a ghost. To myself, I was a weapon in the making. I spent months studying their every move, Victor and Lena. They took Eden Tech public. The company soared for a time. Investors believed Victor was some misunderstood genius, finally breaking free from my shadow. But I knew the truth. Victor didn't build things, he consumed them. And Lena, she had her own shadowy ambition. I built something too. Not a company, a network. Under a new identity, I infiltrated their systems, slowly, carefully. I didn't want to destroy them, not yet. I wanted them to feel it. Doubt. Paranoia. The dread of knowing something was coming, but not knowing when. It started with small things. Product leaks, deleted files, unexplained bugs in their flagship app. An anonymous whistleblower claimed insider trading. The SEC opened an inquiry. Stocks trembled. Victor blamed the staff, fired the wrong people, Investors got nervous. Then came the envelopes. Crimson red, no return address. Just a symbol etched on the front, the old Eden prototype logo, the one only I used. Inside each was a single phrase typed in courier font. You cut the roots. Now watch the garden rot. They received one every week. Victor tried to trace the source, hired ex-military security, tapped phones, monitored emails. He never found me. And Lena? Ah, Lena. She still looked at him with that smile, the one she used on me, but it didn't reach her eyes anymore. Their relationship was breaking. I knew because I broke it, with truth. I left a message on her private server, just one video file. It was an old recording from a camera I planted in our apartment, the night Victor first kissed her. She thought I didn't know. She was wrong. She watched that video for 7 minutes, then she deleted it. 2 days later, she moved into a hotel. That was the beginning of the end. Victor spiraled, tried to spin PR stories about innovation and growth, but the cracks showed. His code base was broken. His team was bleeding talent. Eden Tech was a ship filling with water, and he didn't even know how to swim. And then came the twist, the one thing he never saw coming. Lena. She showed up at my door, not metaphorically. I mean physically, rain-soaked, alone. She hadn't aged a day, or maybe she had, but her regret wore it like war paint. I didn't say a word. She stepped in and said only this. I was part of your plan, just like you hoped. I didn't smile, I didn't flinch, because I had hoped for that. Years ago. I had whispered it to myself like a prayer. Let her come back. Let her regret him. Let her hate herself for what she did, but now that it had happened, it didn't feel like victory. It felt hollow. She explained everything. How Victor became obsessed, how he started recording her calls, how he accused her of spying for me, how he hit her, once, and how she decided that night, if she couldn't be loyal to me then, she could at least avenge me now. She gave me everything, access to Eden's internal servers, investor memos, Victor's private journals, every lie, every fear. You gave me a kingdom, she said, and I let a traitor wear your crown. For a moment, I wanted to hold her, but the past is not something you can outrun, only burn down. I didn't forgive her, but I used her. The final phase began. A public leak, code, messages, emails, exposed the internal corruption at Eden Tech. Regulators descended. Class action lawsuits piled up. Stock price plummeted. Media outlets swarmed Victor like vultures. Lena disappeared again. I made sure of it. Victor was alone. Exactly where he put me once. I left one last envelope at his penthouse door. This time, there was no phrase. Just a single image. The two of them? In my apartment, laughing. A week later, I saw it on the news. Victor Hale, bankrupt. Removed from the board. Under investigation for securities fraud. The company he stole from me? Gone. The woman he betrayed me for? Gone. The life he thought he wanted? Gone. He was a ghost now, too. And that should have been enough, but it wasn't, because a man like Victor doesn't go quietly. He showed up at my bookstore 2 months later. Thin, pale, empty, the bell above the bookstore door chimed softly. It was raining again, always raining, like the sky couldn't stop mourning something long gone. I looked up from my ledger, and there he was. Victor Hale, the man who once called me brother, who stole my life, who tried to wear my skin. But now, he looked nothing like the man I remembered. His suit hung off him like rags. His eyes were bloodshot and hollow. A man can survive bankruptcy, disgrace, even hatred. But regret? That devours you. Elias, he said, voice cracked and hoarse. I don't know where else to go. I didn't answer, just stared. Let him speak. I was wrong about everything. I thought taking Eden would make me whole. I thought if I could be you, I'd finally matter. But all I did was destroy everything. He stepped closer. I ruined your life. I betrayed you, and I lost Lena. He paused there, waiting for something. Maybe a flicker of pain. Maybe a spark of shared grief. But I gave him nothing. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said, voice trembling. Just a chance. Help me build something. Something real, something good. The gall of it. He wanted to build now, after tearing everything down? Still, I nodded. Not because I forgave him, but because I was not done. There's a project I've been working on, I told him. Open source. A medical data sharing platform, secure, anonymous, could save lives. His eyes lit up like an addict seeing the glimmer of his next high. I want in, he said. Whatever you need. I smiled for the first time in years. You'll need to install the core framework. It's delicate. One wrong move, and it'll collapse the entire database. He nodded. And just like that, I handed him the last match. He spent weeks working in the back of the bookstore. It was pathetic, really, watching him pour himself into a project he didn't understand. He thought redemption was something you could code. But redemption doesn't come in the form of clean commits or rolled back branches. It comes through fire. On the 21st day, he activated the final integration protocol, exactly as I designed it. Within 12 hours, EdenTech's last patent filings, tech he had stolen and tried to repackage, were overwritten, obsolete. The system automatically uploaded mirrored data sets to public networks, complete with timestamps proving misappropriation. And buried in the metadata, his name, his ID, his digital fingerprints on every line. By the time he realized, it was already news. Victor Hale responsible for final EdenTech collapse. Whistleblower turns over data proving years of theft and fraud. Monroe Project clears path for medical transparency, without Hale. The irony did save lives, just not his. He returned one last time. Rain again? Of course. He stood in the doorway, drenched, broken. You accused me, he said, barely audible. You wanted me to believe I could fix it. I nodded slowly. And you did. You helped build something better, but not for yourself. He stared at me like a man looking into a mirror, wondering if the reflection was real or just the echo of someone he used to be. I should have killed you when I had the chance. I leaned forward. You did. And look what crawled out of the grave. The next morning, he was gone. The newspapers said he left the city. Some claimed he took his own life. Others swore he was spotted in Morocco under a different name, selling startup ideas to tourists. I didn't care, because I wasn't after revenge anymore. Revenge is a flash, but justice is patient. People ask me now why I didn't take it all, why I didn't press charges, sue him, bury him legally, but that was never the point. I didn't want him dead. I wanted him to live, as I once did, alone, disgraced, powerless, forgotten. I wanted him to understand what it feels like to build a kingdom with bare hands and watch someone you trust burn it to the ground, and then hand them the same match, so they could do it to themselves. Sometimes Lena writes. She lives in Norway now, works with children, teaches ethics of all things. She asks if I ever think of what we could have had. I don't answer, because the truth is, I do. And that truth burns more than anything Victor ever did. I kept one photo, the three of us, smiling, young, stupid. I look at it sometimes, not out of nostalgia, but as a warning, to remember that the deepest cuts don't come from strangers, they come from the hands we trust the most. Betrayal didn't destroy me. It carved me into something sharper.